All right. Now it's my turn. This was, and a little chocolate here. This was, oh yeah. Hold on a second. Let me just take this in. Welcome to this week's episode of Whiskey Neat, spirited conversations with interesting people. I am your host, Christopher Hart. Okay, back to my chocolate. I actually had an idea for a drinking game, and I will implement it eventually. Didn't quite work out this episode. But here's the idea. It's Whiskey Roulette. It's Whiskey Roulette / Truth or Dare. I ask a question to a guest that is so aggressive, maybe, that they're not going to want to answer it. So they either answer the question or they drink from a blind sample. It could be a delicious bourbon-based cocktail that they have to drink, or it could be something awful like Jefferson's Malort. So it's a great idea for a game. We'll roll it out next time. But today, I sit down with someone that is a goddamn superstar. Brendan Schaub, former UFC heavyweight, friend of Joe Rogan, friend of Brian Callen. Brian Callen is an American treasure. I love Brian. I've been a fan of Brian Callen since the 90s when he was on Mad TV, which we talked about when Ari Spears was on last. So, Brendan Schaub has a fantastic, well-received podcast called The Fighter and the Kid, TFAT-K, The Fighter and the Kid. He's also got Below the Belt. He's also got King and the Sting with Theo Von, who is a dude. We talk about Theo Von in this episode, and what he said about him is accurate. Theo Von's going to be a massive star. He's a genius. I mean, anyways, you guys know how much I love comedy. So I sit down with Theo Von, with Brendan Schaub, and it could not have gone better. What a nice guy. Everything about him was just fantastic. And he's here in Houston for the next 2 days, right after the hurricane. Drove from Dallas. Sorry, I keep saying he drove from Dallas. He drove from Austin. We have 3 sponsors this episode, and they are as follows. This week's show is, as always, sponsored by Terlato Distell Artisan Spirits, leader in premium artisan products like Bunnahabhain, Deanston, Ledaig, Tobermory, Bains, Black Bottle, and, of course, Scottish Leader. You can pick up the entire line at your local liquor store. If you are a retailer, reach out to your United Wine and Spirits rep. Big fan of everyone I just mentioned. Huge fan of Terlato Distell. This week's episode is also sponsored by Balcones, the official sponsor of Whiskey Neat on ESPN 97.5 FM in Houston. In 2008, Balcones was nothing more than an idea driven by a passion to create something original and authentic. Focusing on ingredients and process, they breathed new life into hundreds of years of distilling traditions, earning them worldwide recognition for their whiskeys. You can pick up their whiskeys at your local liquor store, or if you're a retailer, reach out to your Southern Wine and Spirits rep. Now, our last sponsor for this show is, and I haven't even read it yet, my good friend Bill Campbell at Glass Rev Imports. Hello, Bill. You sent me the email while I was filming this show. I haven't even read it yet, so I'm going to read it verbatim. Are you ready? Whiskey Neat is supported by the inspired spirits at Glass Rev Imports and Amrut Distilleries. We love featuring Amrut whiskeys on the show. Amrut crafts single malt whiskey to the exacting standards of Scotch. If you need proof, well, at this year's Proof Awards, Amrut Fusion received double gold, 96 points, and blind tastings by 30 industry judges. Fusion also was declared World Whiskey of the Year at the Bartender Spirits Awards, awarding it 94 points and a gold medal. Bartenders are a pretty nice group to have support from. In parentheses, some humble statement to that effect. You're absolutely right. Listen, if there's this industry, its very first consumer is bartenders. People love the end consumer, but the supplying tier, the brands, the distilleries, their very first people that they want to woo and romanticize and win over their love and respect are bartenders. And for bartenders to award this without having any obligation to do that is very, very good news. Let's see here. Amrut appreciates that the great state of Texas become the number one consumer of this elixir of life, which is what the word Amrut means in America. In American. In freedom, that's what that means. is elixir of life. So, Bill, I appreciate you. You're a good friend, great supporter, huge fan of Amrut. And for anyone who's ever tasted Amrut, you know that I'm not just a shill. It is delicious Indian single malt. Tickets for the Whiskey Social are on sale, HoustonWhiskeySocial.com. We have about a week left before they go off sale. Now, they're still available, but they're going to be at a little higher of a price. Get your tickets at HoustonWhiskeySocial.com or Eventbrite. Additionally, WhiskeyMerch.com. That's our show's branded shirts. And, of course, HBSMerch.com. You can pick up shirts there as well. I think that pretty much covers all of our bases. And without further ado, stand-up comedian, former UFC heavyweight, jack of all trades, podcasting son of a bitch, Brendan goddamn Schaub. Cheers. I'm empty. Hold on. Gotta put something in there. It's bad luck. It's bad luck. All right. Without further ado, Brendan Schaub. Cheers. Brendan Schaub.
What's up, man?
Very nice to meet you.
Yes, you too, brother.
Did it off air. I'm going to shake it on. I've touched them, guys. You've seen it.
We've touched.
So
Eskimo brothers.
Speaking of things, I'm so excited you're here. You came to Houston not too long ago. You were just here.
I don't even know when. Hopefully, it was at least a year ago.
Okay.
Otherwise, I got to fire my touring agent.
Sure.
So if you come back to the same market within a year, it's trouble.
Well, from what I hear, things have been going pretty well. 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow.
Yeah.
The Houston Improv, you can get your tickets at Houston Improv and, of course, through tfatk.com.
Coming with a boat.
Sure.
It's downpouring. Kind of fucked me.
Yes,
Can I cuss on that?
Yes. Yeah. So we'll censor it for the radio.
Okay.
And I know my listeners get tired of hearing this, but TJ Miller said turtle cock so much that we couldn't use the episode for radio. So we had
Really?
He just kind of clung to it and then thought
it was his thing.
Well, he noticed that the producer was writing timestamps down every time he cussed.
So
and
he
fed off it. Yeah. So
no, I'm not that guy.
So,
I love TJ, but no, I'm not.
Yeah, you can cuss, and we'll leave it up uncensored online, and then for radio portion we'll clean it up.
Okay, boss.
But I knew that you were a whiskey drinker. You know, I'm a huge fan of your shows, and The Fighter and the Kid is probably one of the greatest podcasts out there currently.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm sure you hear that a lot, but I mean it.
Appreciate
Ryan
you, man.
Callen's amazing.
That's my boy.
So yeah, let's jump in. So typically, what we do is we'll jump in, we'll start drinking. I'll talk a little bit about what we're drinking, and then we'll just kind of talk about you. That's the whole reason why you're here.
You brought out some heavy hitters.
Well, I knew the man was here. So
yes.
So your brother Jay mentioned that you like Blanton's, so we can start there, or because you know it.
I do know Blanton's.
Okay,
I've ran that playground, my man.
This is the only reason why I want you to taste it, anyways.
Okay,
it's because I brought Blanton's Big Brother that you can't get in the U.S. And I want you to realize you're drinking the wrong Blanton's.
Oh, yeah? I'm drinking the watered down.
You're drinking that.
The McDonald's of Blanton's.
Oh, I didn't say that. I love Blanton's. They're not a sponsor of the show. I would never sling one. But
I'm just saying compared to the original you brought.
Would you prefer a rocks glass or a fancy Italian?
I'll do the regular rocks. Yeah.
Something about you.
I don't need to look any gayer.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I saw your stand-up special.
Yeah.
So for the record, real quick, we'll have an extra glass. It'll be your dump glass. So if you don't want to finish the whole pour, you can empty it right here. But yeah, I saw your stand-up special. It was absolutely. It felt at the end you have a sweet moment with the audience where you basically just say, "I've dreamt about doing this my whole life." Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and you can tell that you couldn't have been more sincere.
Yeah.
That you were just going back to I know this is old news too.
No, please.
But that whole Rogan conversation where he told you to get out of fighting, you seem happier. You've got your boy now. You've got another one on the way.
Yep.
Everything about you seems like you're at the happiest point of your life right now.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just in a great spot, man. I'm in a great spot, and. Yeah, it's weird how it worked out, you know. Cheers, brother. Cheers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Cheers,
this,
absolutely. Thanks for coming.
That is nice.
It's a classic example. Nice. You can't go wrong with Blanton's if you can find it.
Yeah, I think fighting for the longest time, like when I had issues with the UFC brass, with Dana White or whatever it was. When I started doing the podcast, that kind of animosity with the UFC, I felt like I was getting kind of slided, it created like this fire in me to. I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and I had great friends around me like, dude, what are you doing? You can do other things. But I needed that kind of fire to get me to where I was trying to go. So, for the longest, I had that burning kind of chip on my shoulder, which got me to where I needed to go. But I don't know, probably about 2 years ago, I was like, it's gone. It's all good, man. They helped me.
Weight off your shoulders.
There's no animosity towards the UFC. I love the UFC. I have no animosity towards Dana White. We're not best friends, but if you need anything, you can call me. I don't know what you'd need, but there's none of that. I'm in a really, really good spot, man. Things are good.
Well, it's something that I'm a father of 4.
Oh, damn. Look at you. What ages?
14, 13, 2 and 3.
Oh, so you
2 and 4.
You were out of the sticks and they went back in.
Yeah. So we started over and we couldn't be happier, man.
There's nothing better.
They keep you young and they keep you kind of sprightly, and even when you get a little older and back
how old
hurts.
are you?
I'm not that old. I'm 32.
Oh wow, you start young, my man.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing like kids, man. It gives you perspective too. Because I was saying this the other day. I was hiking with a friend of mine, and we were talking about. I was talking about He goes, man, you always talk about comedy and on your life on the road. He goes, you had good times on the road when you were fighting. I went, some of the best. Like when I went to Brazil and I was fighting Nogueira and I was doing promotional work out there and I was hiking these crazy Brazilian trails, and it was like the scariest thing I ever did. I was with my boys, and now I'm so appreciative of those moments. But when I had my son, I wasn't as like living in the moment. Now, because of him, I feel like I appreciate things more.
Absolutely. And your son, famously, you recently started endorsing CBD because it helped with the seizures.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how that might have messed with your head.
Oh my God.
But they're incredible, man. I mean, how old is he? 4?
3.5. He'll be 4 in February.
That's a great age.
And then his brother comes end of November.
Yeah, that's exciting.
They gave us like around the date, November 24th.
You gonna do more?
Oh yeah, I want a squad.
Yeah,
you have 4 or 5, you said?
4.
I wouldn't mind 5, but it's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, it depends on how happy you can stay married.
Figure it out. Mexican, am I right?
So we've had a few, but those first couple of years can be rough on the wife. So
it's tough, but for sure get through it. Like when my girl complains, like, what are you complaining about? Like I grew up with some moms, single mothers with 4 kids, dad's gone, they're working 3 jobs. Like, we'll figure it out.
Sure.
Daddy makes money. Daddy's on the road.
Daddy's doing very well for himself.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
That's the thing about you is you're a little bit of a jack of all trades. You've done everything. You, I think played varsity lacrosse. Yeah. You tried out for the NFL. You had a great career as a UFC heavyweight. And now I think everything has gotten better. Like everything you try, it seems like you're perfecting.
Yeah.
The comedy thing it's got to be fun, man.
Yeah, I think with sports is a blessing and a curse. Again, I'm super appreciative of it now coming out on the other side, but when you're in it, it's like it was a blessing and a curse because my dream was to be on Saturday Night Live as a kid. Like that was the goal. But I was a big, fast, strong kid, young, and there was no really blueprint to get to Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, you're taller than I imagine. You're 6'3", 6'4"?
6'4".
Yeah, dude, you're
not
big.
Small. So, and I was just, I was the most athletic kid on the playground. So that doesn't really kind of make the best comedian or, if you're good at sports, especially my dad who was a big sports fan. He's like, for sure, pay for your college playing football.
Do you have dreams of hosting SNL?
Yeah, that'd be the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, they just fired that one dude for saying some stuff, which definitely suspect what he said.
Yeah. What's so funny?
If they go back and listen to mine, I'm for sure fired before I even.
You covered it in the T-Fat-K podcast. Yeah. You start off, the conversation starts off between you and Brian about this guy getting in trouble.
Defending him?
For the Asian comments, right? And then in that episode, you start talking about misophonia and you do an Asian voice. This is the best.
Do I?
Yes. You go, misophonia.
Oh, misophonia. But yeah, I know. It's
like
but Kat and Chin are laughing.
Dude,
so I feel like I'm good.
I was dying dying laughing because you do that in that show a lot where you slip in these little one-liners that no one acknowledges, but I'm crying in my car.
I think Brian and I've been together so long. It's like we know that the fans think it's funny. Or I know if Kat and Chin are laughing, it's good. But me and Brian just keep going. We don't even acknowledge it.
You just keep going. Well, he was talking about I think it was beautiful women that were trans, and again, every conversation you guys touch that you probably shouldn't be touching, there's always like you just slip in these little one-liners, and out of nowhere you just go, "Me so funny," and I was like, "Oh my god!" It's so ridiculous. But I think you could still host it. I mean, some horrible people have hosted it. In terms of
but also like I've never I don't say anything racist. I'm not a racist person. I bring 2 brown people with me to on the road. All my employees are Asian American, so it's like that wouldn't fly. If they went that angle, it wouldn't fly. Well, I might say some stupid stuff. Sure. I've been in trouble before, but. I don't know, man.
You could have added on to that. Like, all my employees are Asian because they're the best worker. Like you could slip
100%, man.
Stuff to get you
facts. That's why the show does so well, not because of Brian and I.
Stuff to get you in trouble. Chin's great. So I know that you've kind of touched on. Speaking of being a jack of all trades, you have an upcoming movie.
So. I mean, kind of. I'm not like Leonardo DiCaprio in this thing.
Sure.
I mean, I have many speaking lines as Leonardo did in, Reverend.
Yeah.
But, I don't say a lot. I'm in and I thought it was coming out in October, but I haven't seen any previews. Have you guys? I was told October. No. It's called Tax Collector with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
I'm one of his enemies' henchmen in a cartel. And it was a great experience. And David Ayers, who I absolutely love, I love seeing how he works and just seeing how he's just a master of the craft. And the whole process was great. And seeing Shia LaBeouf and getting to be around him and see how talented he is, it's insane. But I think one of the things I realized, it's like, I don't know. I mean, stand up destroys this.
Sure.
Well, I get instant gratification from stand up, and it's also. I steer the ship, I'm in control of it. With that, I'm just a puzzle piece in this huge kind of artwork. So it was cool, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't tell my fans go to the movie because I'm in it. Sure. You'll see me, but.
Are you gonna explore that though? Would you want? I mean, because I
would do a buddy comedy movie with all my friends.
Oh, that would be great.
Dalia, Theo, Brian, Sasso, Bert, Tom, like all of us, Joey Diaz, and we got a good script. I'd be down for that.
Y'all should redo that. What's that little guy's name that did he did Dodgeball? Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller did that superhero film in the 90s. What was it? The Mystery Man, I think?
The Mystery Man. Yeah, I actually like that movie.
You guys should redo that.
That'd be dope.
But with like all Joey and oh my god, that'd be killer. Absolutely killer. So this, speaking of the beast with 2 backs, this thing is incredible. So straight from the barrel, it's cask strength. They don't water it down. And this is the thing that people have to go to the black market to get in the U.S. for Blanton's.
I'm gonna have to go dark to get this, huh?
Yeah, there's a Facebook. I say black market. There's a Facebook black market.
Is there?
Yeah. Well, Facebook's been cracking down on it, but you can basically get almost anything there. And every time they shut one down, they open a new one. But it's straight from the barrel, and it is. I don't know if you drink ice water. How do you drink your whiskey?
I usually have a little ice on it. Usually, I just take it before shows. I just kind of down it like a goddamn psychopath. This is cool, man.
Yeah, they do a great job with it. There's a couple of like foreign releases, but basically in the U.S., Blanton's is only allowed to sell one standard Blanton's in all of the U.S. And in the world, like there's a wine festival in Dutch or wherever, the middle, like not quite France. So there's some sort of Norwegian wine festival that gets their own Blanton's special bottling. Man. It's straight fire. Nice. I'm a huge fan of it.
Pure.
Every time I see you guys do Rogan or something, I'm like, I see you drinking whiskey. It warms my heart.
That is another level, though, man. Yeah, it's weird. I've never been a big drinker ever, and then probably when I hit like 34, I always told Brian, I'm like, we need a drink, dude, because he doesn't drink either. I'm like, we need a drink. I want to be that cool older guy, like a robe in the back of the restaurant, sipping my drink. And he goes, "What's our drink?" And then I I don't know, man. Probably like a year ago or so, I was doing a show with Rogan, and he goes, "You want to do a shot?" And I go, "I don't drink before I go on." He goes, "You don't drink?" And I go, "No, never." He goes, "Oh, dude, I'm telling you, like this is why I get loose. Like you should try it." So we took a shot of Jack. It's just all the bar had.
Sure.
And so we took a shot, and I had like the best set of my life. So I was like, "All right, I guess it's a thing now."
Yeah.
And then so it started with Jack, and then I started going down this rabbit hole, and then I started getting a hold of some Buffalo Trace, and I went down there, and then never had the Pappy Van Winkle. I love that. Yeah. And then man. Then there's Centauri and stuff like that.
Sure,
the Japanese whiskeys.
That's big. TJ Miller wanted Hibiki 21, so we got some of that in. Hibiki 17, I think he actually preferred, but there's a whole rabbit hole, and so it became more of a tradition for you to start with.
Straight tradition.
And just because it was just everything lined up right for that first set.
Yeah, it was just special. And then I was like, well, don't want to ruin that. It's kind of like like almost like a sport tradition. Like if you put this glove on first, or you wear these boxers when you fight, it was kind of like that. Kind of became that
superstition, right?
Yeah.
So you being a sports fanatic, I would imagine, has a little bit of that in you.
Yes.
Where you got to wear the same,
Yep.
never wash these underwear.
Yeah.
Just whatever.
And now it's alcohol.
Sure.
And then I find myself drinking in the afternoon. So, it's whatever.
Sure. Yeah. The thing about Jack, it kind of catches a bad break for most people because you can find it anywhere, even in like the holiest of bars.
But it's quality. Some of it's quality, yeah.
Their high end is very well respected in the bourbon community. The Jack Daniel's
Gentleman Jack?
No, the barrel proof.
Oh, gotcha.
So they do a barrel proof. It's in a nice fancy bottle, $60 for a bottle. But and you wouldn't know this, but the largest whiskey club in the U.S. is here in Houston.
Oh wow,
6,500 members. We go to distilleries several times a year to go and we pick out barrels.
Are you the president of the club?
I help run the club, yeah.
Yeah. You guys got shirts and shit?
Yeah, shirts.
Yeah.
You can get that at hpsmerch.com.
Oh, hell yeah. What's the logo, dude? Let me help with the merch.
Yeah. So I'll show you the logo. If Jack was here, he'd probably be wearing a shirt. But it's the Houston Bourbon Society. And then we travel to distilleries. We'll be going to which we haven't told the club yet. We're going to France next year to pick out some Armagnac.
Wow, it's getting serious.
Yeah, but it's not just bourbon; it's everything. If it spends time in a barrel, it's delicious, right? So and
it's how many are there?
6,500.
And it's 6,500 white guys.
No.
The diversity is not well. Let's go.
Well, it's 19% women, so it is.
Well,
we do have metrics on and there's not many women, but there are a lot of the women that are in the group are very
warlocks,
rambunctious.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
But we just got back from Jack Daniel's. We got a house in Lynchburg across from his grave. And then we went to the distillery, spent the whole day there, picked out a barrel. We basically buy the whole barrel. They come back. It's our special. So every single barrel
is different. That sounds fun, man.
Dude, it's awesome.
How the hell did you land this on ESPN?
So it's funny you ask because Brandon was even like
your name's Brandon?
Brandon, yeah. So he was like, why are we doing a spirits themed show on ESPN? He's like,
good question.
So it's the only spirits radio show in the state of Texas that's on the radio. There's several podcasts, but we've had some pretty incredible guests come in, and we have a pretty decent sized audience too. So everything, and of course the big group, we go and we bought 40 barrels this year. So
damn, that's cool, man.
It's pretty dope. I wish
I would send me a shirt. I can't make the meetings.
Sure,
but send me a shirt.
Sure. Well, we don't do meetings, but you
know what I'm saying.
We make trips to distilleries.
That's cool, man. I can't make those either, but I'm down. I'm down to rock the shirt.
Well, I actually did. I did bring you a gift. I knew you drove from Austin. I wasn't sure how active you were but I imagine tonight you'd probably continue that tradition and have a shot before.
100%. Yeah.
So I did bring you.
Most clubs bring me. Oh, dude,
your own bottle of Blanton's. Yeah.
Are you serious? Oh,
yeah.
thanks,
so I wanted you, and we have some great liquor store, some incredible liquor store supporters.
Thank you,
in the
man.
group. So we brought you that. You can open it tonight, and I know that some comedians when they fly, people give you gifts. You can't take it all with you. But I figured you might put a dent in that this weekend.
Thanks, brother. I really appreciate that, man.
And I know the Improv's actually pretty cool about
they're great.
Other booze being in the room.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is I'm not a diva. I only demand unwrapped pink Starburst. That's it. And then 74 degrees in the room. But other than that, the one thing I demand is like Blanton's.
Oh, sure.
Some do it, and then some are just like, dude, we have Jack. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's hard to it's hard to get sometimes.
It is.
So
Yeah,
it's
so
on
they're a little
allocation.
dicey,
So,
yeah.
and we had the master distiller for Buffalo Trace in here a couple weeks ago, and we talked about it. And basically, they can't make enough to put out, so everything is
People
scarce.
love it, right?
I was just listening to Santino talk to someone. They were drinking Eagle Rare, and even that's on allocation. It's a $30 bottle, and you can't get it anywhere. It's so. I mean, you know the right people.
So do you have just an absolute favorite?
A favorite bourbon?
Yeah, like if you, something like if you wanted to on your tombstone, if you had to have one whiskey on there, what would you have on?
Oh man,
have you ever thought about
it'd
that?
probably be a Scotch, and out of nostalgia, it'd probably be Lafroig. So I love Lafroig. It's smoky. It's peated. I have a story where I got into whiskey because of my father-in-law. He hated me when I was dating his daughter. We opened a bottle at Christmas one year, and that's our first time we connected was over a bottle of Lafroig Scotch, 18 year.
Oh wow!
So if I had one, it would be Lafroig 18
because of what it stands for.
Because of what, but it's good. It's awesome juice. They
But
don't
you're
make
open
it
to
anymore.
sponsors.
But
if someone to sponsor the
if
Tombstone,
somebody wants to sponsor
Jack, if you want to throw some money his way.
Jack was a sponsor on the show for a year, and currently we have 18-year-old single malt Scotch sponsors and Indian single malt. I don't know if you have ever had an Indian single malt, but
I haven't.
Amrut's pretty dope.
Damn, you guys are killing it, man. This is cool.
Hey, listen, we like to drink. Nothing in this world. It's like when you guys do the MMA shows on Rogan. It's
the Fight Companions.
The Fight Companions. It's mostly just you guys hanging out.
It's just a bunch of bros
just hanging out.
Yeah, hanging out. I think one of the reasons that show does well is because you just feel like you're one of the guys in the group, because all guys talk like that. You know, we're talking about chicks and titties and octopus and the world's strongest man and hairy dudes. And then every now and then I'm like, oh, check out the fight. You know?
That guy just got knocked out.
Like, I think it's hilarious. Like, you could never, like, say the UFC or whoever, CBS, whoever was like, oh, we want you four guys to watch the fights. Like, you can't have a producer of that thing. You couldn't air that thing on regular network TV. Like, I think that's why it's special.
Well, I think that's what kind of sets you this whole thing that you guys have cornered, the podcast realm, is you guys, it's free of any restraints.
Yes.
You may open your mouth and say something you shouldn't say, and then you have to kind of go back and address things, but it happens to everybody except Joey Diaz refuses to address things. But
I love that. I'm with Joey on that.
Joey's, I think because he built his career on that, he's untouchable.
Yeah, I don't believe in apologizing for certain things, but when I apologize, it's genuinely not for anybody, like maybe the haters, the fans, like, oh, he's doing it for us.
No, it has to do with how something was said.
It's literally just for a friend who reached out to me and was like, hey man, that hurt, or I didn't like you when you said this. I'm like, oh, that's no problem. Yeah. Our friendship's bigger than any of this. Yeah, no problem.
Sure,
that's where it comes. It doesn't come from pressure from online. I don't even read comments, so I don't get a lot of that.
I meant to ask you that. Do you ever read your Instagram comments?
Very rare. Like, just because it's so toxic. I used to, and then now I have someone who will go through it. And just one thing I won't put up with in this world is negativity. Like, life is tough enough.
So just going and filtering them out.
So I have people looking at it all the time, and then I'll open it up to like look at my friend's stuff, or if I need to post a show or something like that, and I'll see some comments. But so it's just such a negative world, and the way our brains are wired is you could have 100 positive comments, but you get that one negative one. That's what you just hang on to. So it's just not healthy, man. I don't, good or bad. So if I open it up and I get 100 comments, people saying, "No, you're the greatest comic in the world," like, that doesn't help me. Or if I get 100 comments saying, "No, you're the worst comic in the world," that doesn't help me. So I don't see the positive kind of, I just it
you don't take it in.
Sense.
It kind of
because if it's good or bad, I just don't. I don't want to give anyone that power either.
Sure. You know? But does it not? I mean, because Rogan talks about, and I think I've heard Brian say this too, about how that feeling, nothing quite feels as good as that perfect connection with the audience when you're on stage. When things go well, when you guys connect, like, isn't there a sense of satisfaction of that approval? But it doesn't translate to online.
Yeah, it doesn't translate online, because especially online, a lot of it's not real. Like, the majority of your fan base isn't on there. They're not. I don't know you personally, but how many comments are you writing? To negative comments are you writing on there, or positive?
It eats away at me at times. I think but
do you get on? I'm saying, do you like you like comedy? So Tom Segura, or are you getting on there and like writing stuff like, oh, you're the best, dude, or stuff like that?
Sure.
Or are you writing negative? You're not.
No,
you're busy creating content, and like, then you have 4 kids, and like.
But I do follow you guys. Like, I do enjoy. Like, I also enjoy, and not to make you feel too good, but I like the dad in you. The dad in you comes across. So like you're super relaxed, you're super fun, but then every once in a while you throw a picture up of your boy, and there's a connection there that you come across as a really good guy. I like that. I like seeing comedians that you like turn out to be good people. You know?
Agree, but see, what you're talking about is you're enjoying the platform for what it is, and you're not throwing your opinions into the hat, good or bad.
Yeah, I'm not fighting. I'm definitely. There's never been a time.
You're 98% of the world. There's the 2%, whether it's positive or negative, that are the loudest on there.
Oh, sure.
They don't count, man. That doesn't count.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but like when I toss my son on there, like, because I get inspired when I see guys who I enjoy and who I want, to be like, or I want to model my career after, when they post pictures of their son, or, to me, that's important, because I think we lose a track of that, because you might see me on King of the Sting and me and Theo are roasting each other. I'm talking about titties or busting nuts or whatever. But remember, man, that's 2 hours out of my day. The rest of the hours, I'm with my son, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. First. Yeah. That's the thing that I don't think people realize, because even with one thing I wanted to ask you about is you do like 4 podcasts.
I do 3. So the way it breaks down is Mondays in the morning. It's Showtime's Below the Belt. So I do that at 8 a.m. That's just my show covering fighting, recap of my weekend, like stand-up stuff, and then fan questions and like current events on MMA. So I do that Monday mornings at 8 a.m. And then at 12:31, I do Fighting the Kid with Brian. And then I always take Sundays and Mondays off. So then I have those nights free.
Sure.
And then Tuesday, we shoot 2 King of the Stings. So at 10:30, we shoot 2. So me and Theo are only in studio twice a month.
I bet that second one's got to be gold, because you've already got kind of warmed up.
The first one's good because we haven't seen each other, and then you're warming up. So they're both. That's why the show's really, it depends. It depends. Sometimes it's great, and because the show's predicated on the fans submitting questions, and me and Theo roasting each other, and then is he in a good mood? Am I in a good, that show, it's different than Fighting the Kid. Fighting the Kid, we don't have to be funny. We don't, like, we can talk about something serious, anything. And that's why that show, so dear to my heart. But King of Sting is a straight comedy show. Theo's one of the best in the world. Oh, like, you better have your fucking P's and Q's ready to go if you stand next to Theo. So that one's a little more stressful for both of us. Not saying that Theo has to keep up with him, but Theo has to come up with good content because we're vibing off each other.
Oh, 100%. And his level of wittiness is ridiculous. Like when he goes on these I don't know if do you ever listen to his show? Like,
no, I
just
don't.
Did Bill Burr. Bill Burr came on. I think Theo got a little tripped up, but he ended up posting online that you could tell I think he might be a little intimidated by Bill Burr, but Bill
Burr's the most intimidating comic that I've ever been around.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask you.
Sorry to jump ahead.
No, it's okay.
He's very intimidating.
You didn't jump ahead, but Burr and Segura, I think, are extremely intimidating. There's something about them that...
Not Segura.
Not Segura?
Segura's the nice guy in the world. Segura's the nice guy in the world, but Segura's not like a real silly, like Bert Kreischer, Chris D'Elia, Brian Callen, where he's going to embrace you, but he's the nicest guy in the world. Him and his wife, who are actually my neighbors, the nicest people in the world. Bill has this... I think Bill's the greatest comedian alive today. I think him or Chappelle, whichever.
I was about to say
him or Chappelle, whichever you prefer. There's 1A, 1B, but I'm open to any conversation you want to have about it. But those are the 2 best comics in the world. And so with Burr, there's just like, I don't know. There's just like when he walks in a room, I don't care who you are, man. It's at the Comedy Store, when he walks in, you just kind of
feel
like,
less than.
Yeah, well, you're just like, you're watching your P's and Q's. You're just like, all right, because he could light you up, in a different way.
His opinion matters.
It's hard to explain. Yeah, his opinion matters. You don't want him to hate you. And then I remember, like, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, like the only guys really into fashion comedy would be D'Elia and me out of our group.
Sure.
And so I wore this jumper, I've been wanting one forever, and Barbados made one. They contact me. This is the only double X we have in the United States. We're going to send it to you. I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
Heck
so
yeah.
it comes that morning. That night, I'm doing a show with Burr, Rogan, I think D'Elia, Bryant. Like, it's a packed show. And I wear the jumper. But I didn't know Burr was on the show.
Sure.
Rogan,
judgment immediately.
And D'Elia, those are my guys. Like,
they would have
loved it.
They
can make fun of me, and it's all like, cool. You guys have terrible fashion. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Burr walks in. I'm like, oh man. And he just looks at me and he's like,
is it a onesie? It's a onesie. Oh, that's what I thought.
Yeah, like Nordstrom mechanic.
Sure.
And he just looks at me and goes, in front of everybody, he gets real quiet. Someone's like, oh fuck.
Oh,
and he
God.
just goes, you look like a mechanic from a musical. And then just keeps going. I'm like, that ain't bad. I'll take that, man. But yeah, there's something about Brent. I respect him so much. And I think he's not a bully. He's always been great to me. And we have a lot of similar interests, but there's just something about him, man.
Sure.
It's like Joe Montana walking the building, you know?
Yeah, there's a I want to say a gravity to him. There's a heaviness.
Yeah, it's strange. I can't explain it, but and when I say the most intimidating, it's just like,
is it like a
you're around? It's not even Star Trek. It's like you're around greatness a little bit. You know, like I'm sure the Bulls felt that way. You know, it's a championship team, and Dennis Rodman was great, and Scottie Pippen was great, and there's all these players who make the team. But when Jordan walks in, everyone's like, "Yeah, there's the guy."
Yeah.
We all and everyone respects him. Sure, there's the guy.
That's how
we all know it. There's the guy.
Feels about JJ Watt. We feel there's I remember I was at the zoo, or my brother-in-law was at the zoo, and he watched JJ Watt walk into a bathroom, and he was like, I want to go say hi so bad, but he's like, I'm not going to be the guy to follow him into a bathroom.
Yeah, it's weird with Bird. Like, he's great. He's approachable. He's a nice dude. Like, you know, there's no one better. But there's just this big dick energy.
There it is.
And that'd be big dick energy to the fullest extent. That term's kind of going to the side. It's a hot girl summer now.
Sure,
but it's fuckboy fall, I guess. So, but big dick energy. Bill would. He could be the man, the logo for that.
Sure.
He'd be the Jerry West of Big Dick Energy.
And you if you had to put him in an order, you'd lean more Burr over Chappelle.
However you want to do it.
Sure.
I love both of them. Do you see?
I watched my birthday. My birthday was August 26th when Chappelle dropped, and I canceled 2 meetings. I sat on my couch, I opened a beer at 9:00 in the morning, and I watched that son of a bitch.
So good.
And every moment in it. I think Burr and Chappelle are untouchable. They're not. People, I mean, they got like 1% reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Like
that stuff doesn't matter.
I know
the people watching aren't writing reviews.
That's that 2%. That 2% you're talking about. They don't matter. But I say they're untouchable in the sense that they can do whatever they want.
Untouchable. And
they're unfireable. So it's uncareer affecting.
Correct.
That's what I mean. It doesn't matter. The fact that Netflix put those two guys back-to-back specials on air,
fire,
regardless of what might happen and who would write about it in Vice or whatever.
But what are you going to do? So you look at Bill and Dave, and I think that's why they're so respected. It's like you're going to fire Dave from what? What are you going to do?
Sure.
From Netflix? Okay, he'll just open it up on his own website, Louis C.K. style, and be fine.
And people would buy it, 100%.
Everybody would buy it. He's the biggest comic in the world. So is Burr.
Have Jack find a break. I'm enjoying this.
It's like those guys, and I think that's what you respect because so many of us, and me for a while, not now. You're working for the man, and you got to watch your P's and Q's, and you might feel this way, but you can't say it because you want the bone or something like that. But there's something about those wild horses who the zebras, I say, who like Burr and Chappelle, where it's like, man, they did it, man, they did it.
I think that's
it's a fuckboy term, but no fucks giving kind of career. And they say there's fuck you money, and then there's fuck you talent. And Dave Chappelle, Rogan, Burr, like it's a fuck you talent.
Rogan's pushed through it too. I mean, I remember early on in his podcast career when things would come up. And things still come up. I mean, the whole Tesla stock thing being affected was incredible.
Hilarious.
But he just pushes through it. Like, no, I'm still going to keep making it, and you almost don't acknowledge it, and it's fine. I mean, even Tom Segura had a wide
the R word stuff.
The R word stuff, and the thing about him is he won't even address it.
He'll double down
on it, and and I think that's the same path that you're on. I think that's the reason why you're so successful. I think that's the reason why all of you guys are so successful. Is I think you guys have found this pocket that is much larger than people give it credit for.
Yeah.
And at least initially, I remember Howard Stern was talking trash about podcasts at one point. You couldn't be more wrong. And Howard Stern, don't get me wrong, is a legend, but you couldn't have been more wrong.
Yeah. And I want to let the cat out of the bag. Howard Stern's number compared to Rogan's, you're not in the same ballpark.
How do you guys see that? Like, I don't understand how. Is that just industry? Is it someone you can call? Okay,
it's just like water cooler talk from people who know.
Sure, yeah.
But when it comes to podcasts and like there is no bigger
secrets.
show in the world than Joe Rogan, and of course, Sirius wants Joe. Like everyone wants Joe.
Does he intimidate you at all a little bit?
No. We're so close, and like, I don't think people realize how close we are. He surprised me on my birthday. Him and his wife came to my surprise birthday party. It was just him and his wife.
Sure.
I talk to him damn near every day. As far as intimidate, I wouldn't say he doesn't intimidate me. What he does is like I feel like I owe him a bit of like I don't want to let him down, because he has like been like, this kid's funny, you should go see him.
Yeah, he's been so supportive of you.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, remember when I told him to quit fighting to pursue something else? Well, here he is, and this is the reason I told him. So I feel like there's like I owe it to obviously to the fans and people who buy tickets, but really to him to be like, yeah, I'm not gonna let you down, man. So that's why I do more sets than damn near anybody out there, man.
The Rogan bump is great, but if it wasn't for you being goddamn Brendan Schaub, it wouldn't be what it is.
Yeah,
longevity wise, it's still you.
Yeah,
I mean, I listen. I could, I don't have to be nice. I don't have to.
No, you don't.
No, but I think you're.
I agree. I'm saying it's easy for people to go, oh, he wouldn't be where he's at if it wasn't for Rogan. Yeah, maybe Rogan gave me that wave, but if you can't surf, you're gonna crash.
I mean, Schultz, same thing. Schultz is. I think he's the next big thing. Andrew Schultz is amazing.
Yeah, it's as far as like, so we're talking about Burr, Chappelle. Your next kind of wave of that
graduating class,
would be who are going to be those goats are Schultz, Mark Norman, and Theo Von. Like, and don't get me wrong, Theo's one of my best friends, so Theo's huge. But Theo's next, and if no one's seen his show, Theo's next special. I mean, it's right there with Bird.
It's up there. That's exciting. I'm
telling you, man. I'm just not saying it because I'm his friend. Yeah. It's like I see what he's doing. I'm around comedy all the time. Like, oh, should I be been that long, dude? I'm around it all. I'm embraced with the best comics in the world. Fucking 4 nights a week at the Comedy Store. I see everyone do their sets, and I see Theo. And me and Theo had this conversation because he was thinking about doing all this stuff. I go, shoot your special. Put everything to the side. Shoot your special. Yeah, it's gonna. Be ready, man. Fucking ready.
He seems a bit reserved and like not sure of himself, even though he's great.
That's what makes him great.
Yeah. So
that's what makes him great.
Even when he's talking to Burr, he seems on the almost like he doesn't believe he's as good as he is. Like he seems a bit like hesitant.
He's hesitant. Even though he doesn't believe in himself as much as the rest. He does and he doesn't. But that's why you love Theo.
Sure.
So I think that's what makes him great. And B, that's why so many people love him. And if he ever does get over that, you're talking, I mean, the next Kevin Hart.
Sure.
He's that guy.
Are you going to do another special? Like, are you already lining stuff up?
I've had offers already.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good, but it's a blessing and a curse. So this new hour I'm doing, I just want to take my time, man. That first one that I did to do a special with doing comedy in 3 years is insane. Turned out, great, exactly how I wanted, but it's like, I want when the next one drops, people can see that to this.
Sure.
So something around 2 year mark from now. Yeah.
So and I can't be the first person to ever come up with this. Which, by the way, I need another drink. So this is 15-year-old Heaven Hill, and this is from the 80s. They no longer make it. It's charcoal filtered, just like Jack Daniels. People like to say Jack Daniels isn't bourbon. It actually is fully legally qualified to be called bourbon. They just don't want to be called bourbon. They identify as Tennessee whiskey, but in order to this is charcoal filtered. It is 15 years old. I would say it's up there in terms of quality. 101 proof.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
You're born and raised, before you go on, born and raised Texas?
Houston, yeah. Why, expecting an accent?
Nope.
I do have a gun, if that...
That makes sense. I love Texas, man. I could live here.
Well, I feel like you're doing really well in Texas. I mean...
It's my third biggest market.
Yeah. Where's the first? California?
California, New York. This is just the United States. California... New York, Texas.
That's the same liquor metrics.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But then if you open it up like worldwide, my number one market is London, and then it's LA, and then it's Australia, and then Ireland, and then United States.
From there.
Kind of strange.
Yeah. So I going back to what I can't be the first person. You guys should do a blue collar comedy tour type thing.
I know. I know.
I mean, I think they had 4 people. The Kings of Comedy was 4, and I think that has to do with timing, right? You don't want to having someone sitting there for 5 hours, but I think
you don't have to. Here's my thing, and Brian and I have talked about this with Dalia, and me and Theo talk about it all the time. It's like we're aware of it, and the biggest dynamic with that. So we did a show last year in Phoenix. It was Ari, Big J, Brian, Theo, and myself. And we did 2 shows. I think it was 3,600 tickets in an Orpheum Theater, 2 shows. So we each did 20 minutes. But the level of the comics on the Blue Comedy Tour, whatever you want to call it, the Power Clown Tour, whatever you want to call it. So you have Brian.
Big Dick Energy Tour.
Sure.
You
have Brian, Theo, Dalia, whoever, Bert, or whoever else you want to talk to.
Delia's got that energy. My wife's in love with him.
With who?
Yeah, Dalia. My wife.
He's the best.
I don't want to go to. I'm going to go to his show, but I don't want my wife to go to the show.
I know
she won't come home.
Girls love him.
Yeah.
But I think if you just did 20 minutes, everyone did 20 minutes, you could do
amazing
a tour like that.
Yeah.
And this is my thing. It's like, obviously, people would probably make a little less money than going by themselves. We sell more tickets. Usually those are all headliners. So
it'd be a road trip with your friends.
This is my sell to these guys. It's like you're doing it for the experience, and you're still getting paid, but you're doing it for the experience, and you're doing it for the game. Because when what was his name? Jeff Foxworthy did it. Jeff was the name. But look at the guys that came out of that.
Sure. And they blew up. Ron White was buying jets and stuff.
Ron White, he still has jets to this day.
Sure.
Ron White. And then you look at Toe Mater, whatever you know what I'm talking about. Dude, people forget. Dude, he's selling out.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Larry the Cable Guy. He sells out like Lincoln.
That's the dad in you again.
Yeah, Toe Mater. Toe Mater. That's how I know.
Sure. Yeah. They're selling out arenas. Like
I think it'll come a time when those, and remember those guys have been doing it so much longer than me.
20 years.
Yeah, so it's like I'm the pup, man. So me selling them on this, like get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But I think eventually everyone's like, yeah, why not? We all have enough money, or it's whatever it is. We all have time to do this. Let's try it.
Well, from what I understand, you try to break even or minimize losses for a special. Like it's really just an advertisement for.
Correct.
Yeah. So
it's like musicians.
You may not make as much money, but I think that the place in history for comedy, for the Kings of Comedy and the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, there's a place in history for that. I think if you did that, even if you broke even, you would have those great memories, but it would be a place.
You're doing it for the game.
You're doing it for the game.
Yep.
It'd be comedy history.
Yep.
And listen, Rogan's solidified. Burr's solidified. Bert and Tom are killing it right now. I mean,
monsters.
Yeah, that's a duo that would be great on tour.
And they have the 2 beer 1 cave. They used to go on tour together.
Oh man, you want to talk about things you shouldn't say on in a podcast?
I only saw the first episode. I just don't have time to watch all of them.
Bert was talking about his wife in a coma. Like he's like I don't want her to die. I just like get in a car wreck in a coma.
Give me some free time.
Yeah, and then talking about how he wants the doctors to fix her. He's like, all right, make her boobs bigger.
She wakes up just.
He's like, how many calories are you giving her? Cut that in half. Like just talking horrible mess. And then Dr. Drew invited her on, and then played it, and then played the audio. No. So
they're the best, man. I think what's interesting is I don't think a lot of people know this. No one's helped me more in my career than Brian Callen, but Kreischer is right there, man.
Really?
Yeah, because I was probably 3.5 years ago, I kept auditioning for This Not Happening in Comedy Central, and it was at the Belly Room at the Comedy Store. And I did it, and I think Bert saw it, and he goes, they passed on me, like, you got to work on it. We have 2 more auditions, so work on it till then. It was like 3 or 4 months away. So it was like 2 months, try it out, 2 months. So I had some time.
You had to wait, yeah.
You had to wait, and they were just like, we like this general story, but you got to get better, man.
Sure.
And Bert was like, hey, come to the house. Let's go over this. And it was like, I love this story. And was just like, frame, and kind of gave me
This is from a while ago?
A while ago.
Which store was it?
It's the one that's on This Not Happening.
Oh,
that has
awesome.
like 3 million views or whatever it is. And
Sure.
it's also was the the rock for my special. Like that ending was, this not happening, but even more so. So
sure.
And that came from Bert just
working with you.
Yeah, just being like, hey, this is how, like, you're there, but you got to structure it like this. And he kind of gave me a bit of like an insight on how he would do it, because he's a storyteller. He goes, you're a storyteller.
He's obsessed with stories.
Yeah, he goes, you're a storyteller.
Little details.
Yeah, he's like, you're a storyteller, and I need you to weave in and out. And he kind of, we did a podcast together, and after he's like, I want you to tell me the story right now. And he recorded it.
Oh, wow.
And it was the first time I heard myself, and he
like
recorded
a coach, like just really driving.
But almost like not being like, oh, say this, but was like, this is what you sound like. What would you change? And then I would go, oh, I didn't like this, go back to him. And then I did it, I think 2 more times for Comedy Central, and then I got passed. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's how that came about.
And you're right, Brian, you said Brian has been the most help to
Number
you.
one.
And how did you guys meet? Because I don't think I know that story. I would assume it's probably through Rogan or being on the show.
No, it was.
But where'd that connection happen?
On Ultimate Fighter season 14, I was brought in as like a grappling coach for the kids on Shane Carwin's team, and Brian had a relationship with Nate Marquardt, who's like a striking MMA coach for the kids, and so they brought Brian in to make the kids laugh. And me and Brian just hit it off, and he had stand up that night, and I went to it, and I was telling him how I was into stand up stuff like that. He's like, you got to come to the show, man. And I didn't know who Brian was, even though he swears I did. I swear to God I didn't. And so that week I told him, he goes, where you living? I go, I live in Denver, but I'm actually moving to LA next week. I'm selling all my stuff, moving to LA. And he goes, here's my number, man. Hit me up. And so I drove, sold all my stuff. I told my family back in a month, but I knew I was never coming back. Sold all my stuff because I just needed to change. And
sure.
I would grow up in Venice Beach because my uncle had a house there. So I'd go there every summer with my dad. So I knew that area, but I didn't know anybody. And I remember I get to Venice Beach, and I get there at like 8:00 at night on a Wednesday, and I'm crying because, I didn't have any friends. But I remember Brian gave me his number, and I text Brian, and he texted me back right away. Kind of creepy how fast it was. And wanted to meet for coffee. Sure. And then he goes, oh, dude, I do a podcast. We have 14 listeners. You should come on. And I go on his podcast, and we had like this weird chemistry. And then he was like, dude, we should do this every week.
And then he quit his podcast.
And I go, I'm not doing this every week. And he goes, good dude, let's do it every week. I go, I don't want to talk about fighting. I'm like, I'm fighting, dude. He goes, no. I know you're into fashion and girls, whatever you're doing. Just talk about your life. But you and I go, well, what are we going to call it? He goes, well, they call me the kid. What about fighting the kid?
One calls the kid.
But I thought they did. And then I found out like a year later from, I think it was Rogan. He's like, no one calls him the kid. I think one of his coworkers, like, Brian tells us to call him the kid. I go, you gave yourself that nickname? He goes, pretty cool, right? I go, no, dude, but that's how it started, man. We started in his garage, and then it just started to gain legs, man. Thank God.
I work in aviation, and I deal with a lot of private flights. So, celebrities are on aircraft. Floyd Mayweather is a client of ours. And there's pilots that give each other, like, they give themselves nicknames.
Like Maverick.
And it'll be Ace. Like, they'll have it in their profile where they're like, make sure when you answer the phone, answer is like, hello Ace. Yeah, they're just like super.
Hey Ace, you're like, you just die inside. Hey Ace, God damn it. Yeah, man, checking in.
Harrison Ford's a client, and he's a pilot. And in his profile, it's Harrison Tomb Raider Ford, but and then below that it says, "Don't address like."
That's so funny, man.
Don't call him these things.
That's so funny.
I
just call him Indiana Jones. Indiana, how you doing? He's like, dude, don't quit fucking calling me.
He gets so mad.
Yeah, but and then Brian and I were, he just showed me the ropes, brought me around Abbott Kenny and all the comics, and we started going to dinners, and then I was making him and Rogan laugh all the time, and way before I had the intervention on Rogan's show, Brian and Rogan were telling me to do stand up or get into stuff. But I remember I was getting ready for camp, and I brought in this guy Jack Mays, who I think is fighting bare knuckle tomorrow night. God bless him, monster. But we were getting ready, and he would get paid $100 if he could knock me out.
Oh my God!
So I pay him anyways, but if he knocked me out, I got an additional $100. And he walks in, Brian goes, Jesus Christ, man, that's what we're doing? I go, yeah, man. And he goes, this is insane.
For $100?
$100. And so the wrap my hands, but I'm like making fun of Jack. I'm making the team laugh. And I'll never forget this. The wrap my hands, I'm in basically Compton. I'm in Compton at Black House, Gardena, I think it is, but it's in the hood.
Sure.
And that Brian's there, and he's like, you know, like looking around because Leo Machida and Spider Silver Anderson's there, and I'm making everyone laugh, and Brian goes, "Hey, bro," and I'm like, "What, man?" I'm like, just in the groove and making people laugh, but also getting ready to fight this giant monster. And he goes, "You know, you can do stand up after this, right?" And I go, "You're insane."
Like he wants you to open for him.
He was just like, "That's your future."
Oh, he can see it.
He's like, "You're gonna be doing stand." I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, well, your delivery, you're quick witted. I think it's a natural progression, and I think you may have expressed some concerns about potentially the future of CTE thing because of your fighting?
I think because, you know, remember I played football before fighting, and then you see CT, but
I think I don't know. I think you're too sharp.
I think a lot of it, if I was just like to sit on the couch and play video games and not fire those neurons, but writing new material and trying to keep up with Theo on podcasting and Brian, and Showtime and the business side of things, acting, acting. I just, you know, I think that's kind of keeping me all right.
I feel like you're completely fine because your diction's good. You're quick witted. I don't think. I mean, it's gonna be a sad story,
and they're gonna play this on like my 30 for 30. Dude, you seem fine, and then it's
and then 6 months later,
2 weeks later.
I do think you guys should definitely, because I think the Death Squad kind of solidified the group. Right, but I think they don't call themselves Death Squad anymore. That kind of went away. But I think if you guys,
such an intense name,
I feel like you guys could dominate anything. Movies, you guys should be able to shoot something together, and just the bonus footage, the cut, the bloopers, the cut-in material between Joey Diaz getting pissed off at Bert and Bert giggling like a girl.
But me and Theo talk about all this, and hopefully Theo doesn't mind I say this, but me and Theo talk about where you don't really need a Netflix or Amazon.
Not anymore.
If we created our own kind of network, and you could only watch these 10 guys special on this network that we created,
people would pay for it, especially if it was a unified force.
Correct.
Right, because that's what Disney did. Disney pulled back all of their Disney classic films from Netflix and other,
and
they
create their own spot. That's what we do.
DC's trying to do it, but nobody's watching.
We're all set on Superman.
Nobody's watching the DC films.
Fuck about Superman right now. So I think if you had everything under that one umbrella,
sure,
you could do it.
You guys can definitely do it. All right, so we've got. I want you to try the Pappy.
Me too, man.
We've got 10 minutes left before we have to go and send you on your way. We've got Pappy and an 18-year-old Scotch. Are you a Scotch guy at all?
I like Scotch.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Indian Single Malt as well. They do it to the same exact standards. That's a quote from the read. I don't know why I need to do that, but it's literally the same level of quality. Anything that comes from India, you can almost always not guarantee the same exact quality.
Yeah, it's a little dicey.
Yeah, but this is, their Indian Single Malt is fantastic. That bottle ran about $150. Cask strength. You get to a point. So most people start off drinking Jack and Coke and blending things, and you get to a point where it's whiskey in an ice cube, whiskey and a little bit of water, and then eventually you're just drinking high proof whiskey straight. I really want you to try this too. This wild turkey, this old wild turkey, is some of the best juice ever made.
I like how you call it juice. I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna steal that.
That's a little bit
I'm
douchey.
I dig it, dude. Tonight juice. With other comics, I'm like, who wants juice?
It's a point. It's a point of contention in the bourbon community. Some people like juice, some people don't like juice. But if you look it up,
I like calling it juice.
It's one of the little.
I'm taking that from this interview. That's the one.
The one thing you'll take away from it.
Yes.
So I do. So I have I wanted to wait to the end.
Yeah. What do you got?
Moment of truth. You're big into fashion.
Yeah.
Big into fashion. I would say it's what you're kind of known for besides 15 other things. What's the one thing you would change? What's a fashion tip for the guy?
For you?
Yeah, generally speaking, I normally wear plaid a lot.
You do wear plaid?
I wear plaid a lot.
Of course you do.
Yeah, it's the
of course you do.
It's kind of like my uniform.
You destroyed in Portland.
And I have a story about Portland.
I bet you do.
Gay guys and black women. I get a lot of attention from those two communities.
Yeah.
Specifically, I think you wore plaid on your special.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of like my sense of style, right?
I love it.
So if you any tip that right off the bat, you would, give it to me brutally. Be mean to me. See, I'm Theo Vaughn, tear me up.
Dude, but you want me to rip your drip? I'm not mad at your boots, man.
You like
Those
the
were
boots?
The first thing I noticed.
So,
those are stylish boots.
I wore these boots because of you. I normally wear. The older I get, the more slip-on shoes make sense.
That's a problem. That's a problem, dude. That's the fucking because you want to get comfortable.
Comfortable, yeah.
No,
yeah,
dude, no.
So
you got a successful show. You're gonna wear slippers and you got fucking Pappy Van Winkle here. You know what I'm saying?
So
who are you, dude? Who are you?
I knew you were coming on. I was like, I'm gonna wear my boots, and my wife bought me these like 6 months ago.
Those are dope. See, I expected those. I thought, oh, he's a responsible, like well-kept dude because you're rocking those boots.
Yeah. I am. I'm a responsible, well-kept dude.
So why not express that through like fashion's art? You know what I'm saying? Like that's your first introduction to society
to people is fashion. I mean, I get it. I when I was young, I worked in jewelry and I had to like get manicures and stuff. You do the manicure thing?
I don't. No, I've done it, but no, it's not like I've done it with my girl, but it's not.
It's not a thing. It's
I mean, I get my feet rubbed, but
sure, yeah. No, pedicure. My wife and I'll go get them together.
Yeah.
So,
but no, you look good, dude. I don't have a problem with it.
Sure,
this is what I would expect.
Okay,
I wouldn't mind like one of those like vest. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I think that would look so cool.
The guys that rock vests all the time.
But you being the whiskey guy?
Yeah.
You got the glasses? That'd be some
kind of a Scottish-Irish look to me.
Yeah, ask your girl, man. I bet she would love it.
Okay.
Whenever if someone roasts me on my fashion, I'm like, ask your girl what she thinks, dude. And I'm not even trying to be a dick, but it's just like, I don't dress for dudes.
Sure.
Man. Like, ask your girl, man.
And
the shoes,
a
little bit. Yeah, the shoes, like guys appreciate shoes, like especially your sneakerhead. Like me and Dalia, first thing we do, we come to the comedy store. I'm like, we both look at each other's kicks.
You both have the same shoe guy, right? The same kid.
We have similar, yeah.
I think I remember seeing similar posts.
Yeah,
but
we have multiple guys, but we use the same guy a few times.
For shoe, how many pairs of shoes you got?
Oh, it's a real problem. I don't know.
What do you have more of? Shoes, pants, or shirts?
Shoes.
Yeah, for sure. Hundreds.
Yeah.
Oh god,
it's a problem, dude.
I think I've got 40 pair, and I like
that's a lot.
I like the slip-ons
because it's easy.
It's easy.
You're not an easy guy though, dude.
For
Don't
kids,
take the easiest way out of I know. I hear you, dude.
And when it rains, that's the only problem. Is there's no grip, like because I wear them all the time, so I'm slipping.
You can't wear those. Man.
Nah.
Have you ever asked your wife about it?
No.
Ask her.
She'll tell me to.
I know. Be like, babe, what do you think you slip on? She's like.
That's wife material. If she'll be honest with you and tell you, you got to stop. She's the one who told me. She's like, I was getting dressed this morning, put on a plaid shirt. She's like, Brandon's known for his fashion. You sure you want to?
I love her.
I was like, all right. Let me pick a solid.
I love it.
I'll pick a solid.
It's just like, it's like guys wearing, have you ever worn Uggs?
No, man.
Comfortable, bro.
But
can't wear them.
You can't wear them.
You can't just
Crocs are comfortable too. I'm not.
You can't wear Crocs, dude.
I say that knowing I've never worn a pair of Uggs or Crocs, but I assume they're comfortable.
They're comfortable, but you can't rock them, man. It's just a no-go, There's certain things as a dude, especially a dude with like, you're killing it, man.
Yeah. So I mean, I know you said you like blends. Do you have any other vices besides shoes? What's your vice? What's your hobby?
Cars.
You're the only one I know who can pull off a denim hat.
I know, right? Cars.
Okay, I knew that about you.
Cars.
You were talking to Brian about I don't remember
Aston Martin.
Yeah,
probably.
how they changed out all the plastic parts and then the hands.
Yeah, they used to be Ford. And I just appreciate it's like a work of art, man.
Sure.
I love it. Cars, watches. I dig watches. Yeah, I just like, I don't know, man. I'm just into stuff. Fashion, cars.
Smoke cigars?
I don't. I'm not into smoking. You know what I'm getting into though? And I was having this conversation with Aubrey Marcus, who owns On It, last night.
Oh, nice little plug there.
Yeah, there you go. Last night we were out to dinner, and I've been doing research on nicotine.
Okay.
And the benefits of nicotine with like dementia and how like nicotine, don't get me wrong, it's a bad rap because of the delivery system, people smoking, but there's so many benefits to nicotine. If you can get it in a spray or almost like you can get lozenges as well, the benefits of it are pretty crazy.
Someone was talking about this recently about, again, separating tobacco use from nicotine itself.
Yes.
But I think that cigars get a bad rap and whiskey does too. There's no carbs, no sugar, no sodium, no gluten. Literally, even if it's made with stuff known for gluten, it doesn't survive the distillation
That's why
process.
I can have it, right? My ketogenic diet.
It's keto.
That's why I can.
Whiskey's keto.
Keto, yeah.
No, there's no sugar, no sodium, no carbs, no fat. There's literally, it's all zeros.
It can't be good for your liver, though. Yeah.
It depends on how much you're drinking.
But I'm sure.
I don't
know.
There's a lot of people who do it professionally, and this is something else. We had on a couple of doctors from the Baylor College of Medicine, and we talked about what it means to be an alcoholic. I think Burr worries about that.
That makes sense. Burr does?
Burr worries about being an alcoholic. He went sober for a year, not because he's an alcoholic, but he said he worries about during the podcast with
Rogan?
No, Theo. He talks to Theo about
Theo's sober.
Theo's sober. They talk about it a little bit. He said it's he's not an alcoholic, but he worries about with his temper and the way that Burr's known for his shtick.
Yeah.
That he just didn't want to be the drunk dad.
Yeah.
You know, I think that may have been from his childhood.
100%.
But we had a couple doctors in there said it's actually extremely hard to be an alcoholic. You have to put some work into it.
It's a lot of work.
The drinking every day is not a sign of alcoholism.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, it has to do. There's 11 signs, and it has to do with like if you try to quit but can't. Or if you say I'm gonna go out for 2 beers and you're out all night and you drank 30 beers,
that makes sense.
Those are flags. If you can't control your consumption, those are flags. But drinking every day, there's a lot of people who work in this industry. Harlan Wheatley's a master distiller for Buffalo Trace. Drinks every day. You're not an alcoholic.
Again,
it's a religious
moderation, and I think, but there are some there's some alcoholism.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
In my family. So I worry about it a little bit. I know Brian worries about me a little bit because we're doing shows at the Comedy Store and he saw me. I did a double of, I didn't blast.
A shot?
Yeah, a shot. And I just took it down. Really? if I'm going on stage, I need it quick and I need the alcohol. And he's like, he saw me do that. And then I had 2 more sets that night. He saw me do another double. And he goes, how many is that for you?
Oh, really?
And I go, that's 4. And he goes, I could tell. He goes, huh?
2 hours, 3 hours? What's the time frame?
With a 2-hour period.
That's not bad.
I'm 250 pounds.
Sure.
So, but because it does run in my family a little bit. But I know
he picked up on that.
He picked up on it right away. He knows me really
first
well.
of all, that is a sign of y'all's relationship.
Yes.
It's very evident that besides being friends, you guys like love each other.
Ah, dude.
Yeah, like
I'm loyal friend I've ever had in my life.
Everything about Brian screams good people, and he does this thing sometimes where he likes to name drop a little bit.
It drives me absolutely nuts.
He goes on Rogan and early on because when I found Rogan was like 2010, 2011, and I knew Rogan but found his podcast. Yeah. Early on, Brian was on. He was talking about like these famous. He likes to throw in an accent too. Yeah. Like if he name drops and that person's French, he'll be like Alexander. Like he throws in a little thing. He was talking about wine, and the next time Brian comes to Houston, I'm going to hit him up. But I'd love to have wine with him. Something about him seems like he'd really be a good wine drinker.
He does know his wine.
I think it'd be fun.
He knows his wine.
Last time Theo was through here, we were gonna record, but it was a little bit dicey, and he doesn't drink.
Doesn't drink at all.
It's a bit of a. I mean, we've done shows. We did Michael Yo. We did without any alcohol, and of course the guys from Baylor College of Medicine, the 2 doctors who were coming to speak on behalf of the university, they're not going to drink.
No.
You've
had Bert on here.
Who?
Bert Kreischer?
Oh, no. So here's the thing. Funny story. Ari's publicist reached out to me, and we have a good relationship.
Ari's great.
And I was like, I would love to have Ari on, but he's going to be in Houston October 4th, Sober October. So I was like, is it going to interfere with the Sober October? And then Bert's going to be here the same weekend. So Bert and Ari are going to be here in Houston October 4th and 5th. I was like, I would love to get them on. I've been pestering Bert's people, but I haven't really heard anything back.
Because it's Sober October.
But here's the thing. No one knows if they're really doing it or not. And it was never decided on Rogan's show. And Ari just pitched the opposite. So bombed October. He's wanting to do acid and getting drunk, like a point system.
That's hilarious.
Ari Shafir is pitching a So Bombed October,
which I love because their Sober October now is so in Rogan's favorite. You know, like
he's on HGH.
It's his thing,
or not HGH. He's on TRT.
Yeah. So it's like he's like, we're gonna run hills. And it's like, well, you do that every day, dude.
Sure.
And Kreischer doesn't do that. Ari doesn't do that.
The dance idea, I think, was the best idea.
Great idea. Never happened.
It would be viral, but Rogan's the linchpin in that. He's not going to do it. But
the bombed October is hilarious.
Ari came up with a point system. So for every shot, it's 1 point. If you do mushrooms, it's 3 points. And I'm making up the numbers.
Like
Acid's like 5 points.
Meth,
so
10.
You're racking up a point.
Can you imagine 10 points in meth? Just every Friday, Bert does meth. And he wins.
First of
He
all,
hits 40 points.
Bert would be the one to drink all month and then do meth the last 5 days.
The last 5 days, just meth every day. He's like on his deathbed, but he wins.
He finally wins. He finally wins sober October, and his teeth are falling out of his mouth.
Dude, he would do it. The Mickey Mantle jeans. I'm not into that.
I think that if that's the case, if they do the So Bombed October, I think
There's no way.
I think doing a show with Bert and Ari and just the
greatest show in history.
It would be the greatest show we've ever had. We had really great reception of the Dolph Lundgren episode. That would go right out the window.
Love it.
But I think Ari's coming on. I haven't locked in Bert, but we also offered. I mean, if they want to do sober October, which I think Ari's idea is way better at this point.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
I think it would be.
I'm not trying to see those guys work out all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Plus, again, I think Bert got depressed because he lost so bad last time. Ari. And it comes across in the way he talks in his podcast, because as a podcast, I feel like I know you and Brian.
Yeah,
even though we've never met.
But you know the tone.
And Bert's done, it seems like Bert's kind of hit a slump of depression after the last one.
Yeah.
That he doesn't want to do this anymore.
No, I don't think any of them do.
And right. And it's a lot
Except
of work.
for Joe.
It's a lot of work. But anyway, so
I worked out with Bert the other morning. He because we live close, and he goes, "Hey, meet me at this sweatshop place." He
feels like he can work out.
He gets after it.
I think the Mickey Mantle gene is relevant. It's just not you can't compare against Rogan.
No, it's just a different animal.
I mean, I think he said he drove uphill 6 miles on a bike the other day or something.
Yeah, he's a monster.
I couldn't do that.
No.
I'm too.
Nor would I want to.
After these drinks, I'm like 240.
Yeah,
I don't.
No, I wouldn't want to do it.
No.
Yeah. No, I hope they do it. It's entertaining, but it'd be way funny to watch them get bombed.
Sure.
But Bert or Ari definitely win in that.
For sure. Tom, I feel like is too much of a adult to
he has kids. He has a newborn. He has the 4-year or 3-year-old.
We had kids at the same time.
Rogan is kind of like, I don't know. Rogan has that never lose gene. So
dude, it would be awesome to see Rogan refuse to let them win. And then Rogan just do DMT every day for like 15 days.
Man, if they do meth for 15 points, it's going to get interesting.
I feel like, did you and Theo have a recent bet? It may have been him and Brian. They have a whole series of bets that they're kind of...
Delia and Callan. I think
that's what it was. Delia and Callan.
And then Brian and I have some bets. One bet of me losing weight.
Brian recently sent a video to Delia basically telling him that people constantly accuse you of stealing Brian's personality, like the way Brian tells jokes, some of his delivery.
And they're stealing Chris of that?
No. They're accusing Chris of
stealing Brian's personality.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember the 10-minute podcast days. I used to listen to that. I thought Brian was Brian Tasso. Love him forever. But Brian sent a video. Chris posted on his Instagram account. But people come up to Brian, "Hey Brian, hey that Chris D'Elia guy steals your thing, right?" Yeah. And he's like, he can have it. Yeah. I 100% agree. I think
they
Brian
might be bringing that 10-minute podcast back.
I don't think Brian will see this, but Brian, you absolutely D'Elia's stealing your shtick, and
we'll see it.
But thanks so much for coming. I want to give you a couple last plugs. What's next down the pipeline? Oh, we never did the Pappy.
Oh, we gotta do Pappy.
Okay, let's do Pappy real quick. Let's do Pappy real quick.
We gotta do end on Pappy.
Where are you going next?
Let's see. I'm in Houston in the hurricane now. 7 people are gonna come. Appreciate you guys with your boats and swamp things. Next week I'm in Denver, my hometown.
Sure.
That stresses me out a little bit. But
why?
I haven't been back home, and there's so many people I gotta see.
Kind of left in a weird spot.
Yeah, I just kind of outgrew them, and so just kidding.
Your brother and you seem really close.
Yeah, my
Jay
brother
seems
still
awesome.
Yeah, he's the best. He's not here today because he's in Indonesia on vacation with his wife. Slacker. So he missed Houston, but yeah, and then I'm Philly, Pittsburgh in October. But then next Wednesday, when's this air?
I'll get with Jack. Probably,
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
whenever you air it, as long as it's fairly soon.
It'll be almost immediately.
Oh, fantastic! Next week, Wednesday, I announce a bunch of dates. Wilbur in Boston's on sale now for January, and then I'm going to international, man.
Find the whole thing, tfatk.com.
tfatk.com. It'll be on my Instagram.
Yeah, and you got to check out his podcast. Of course, I'm sure anyone listening to this, knowing that Brendan Schaub's coming on, you're already familiar with The Fighter and the Kid. And the King and the Sting is fantastic. I mean, yeah, just the dynamic of you three, it couldn't be more perfect.
Yeah, those are my brothers, man.
And I'm super jealous.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Dude, thanks
this
for coming
fun,
on.
dude. I'll do this every time.
Listen, we
Hopefully
started.
your fans are friendly.
We got mobile. Oh, dude, our fans couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
And when I announced that you were coming,
You got to send me the shirt though, man, so I can rock
I
it.
will.
Again, can't go to the meetings.
Sure.
So.
Text me an address and a shirt size, and I'll send you some swag.
Perfect, man.
And then yeah,
thanks for the plans.
Houston Bourbon. Yeah, for sure, man. Have you tried the Pappy yet?
I haven't.
Last cheers, man.
Happy
Cheers.
Vazinko.
This week's show is, as always, sponsored by Terlato Distell Artisan Spirits, leader in premium artisan products like Bunnahabhain, Deanston, Ledaig, Tobermory, Bains, Black Bottle, and, of course, Scottish Leader. You can pick up the entire line at your local liquor store, or if you are a retailer, reach out to your United Wine and Spirits rep.